Hello, and welcome to this week's Weekly Blur, which actually has 3 weekly blurs being posted because I did not get them done. I haven't filmed, I just haven't edited them together, so you'll get a load of me this week. Yay! Anyway, I wanted to talk today about 2 things, both of which have escaped my mind. I'm 56, I can bleed out. No, it's I'm talking quietly because I'm on my back porch and I don't have my headphones in, so if I have to re-edit this and redo it, I will. The first one is, I don't know about you, y'all know me as being a pretty big pet lover, right? What? Kenny loves pets? Never knew it. I don't know about you, but on Facebook, whenever people post about their pets passing away, I have a moment of just extreme, like, oh, just like that. Oh. No, I do. It hurts. It hurts that anyone that I know is having to go through that pain, because that is a real pain. And then it strikes me that there are some people who don't get it. I've been working in the yard. I got dirt all over my face. There are some people who don't get it at all. They're like, oh, it was just a dog. I think somebody actually said that either when Slugger or Dakota died, one of the two, and I see my eyes, they did just like that, flames. It's not just the dog. Some of y'all know I have a company that I started, 14 years ago almost, and I haven't been able to market it for the last couple of years, especially with COVID this last year. Sorry, I'm still smoking. That handles when people's pets pass away. I provide a service where I can go to the home and remove the pet for them, provide cremation services, just removal. It's a needed service. There's one company that does it that I know of in Austin, and they're not always available either. So I've worked with the Humane Society on this in the past, and emergency animal clinics, and I think I'm gonna go out and start marketing it again because it was a good business to have. For me, even, it was kind of like, I think there was only 2 times. I've had about probably 120 clients or so. There's only been 2 times that I've like cried there with them because it was hard not to do. And my mom was like, I don't know how you can possibly do that and not be just an emotional mess. And the thing is like, I know that I'm providing something that is needed at the time. That's why I started it, because we had I had a cat named Smokey that I'd rescued from the wild. I mean, she was the stray. She was the child of a stray. She was a true stray cat baby. There's a song there. And I raised her from, she was probably 6 weeks old until she was almost 17 when she died. And she died a really crappy death. We had moved to an apartment in Round Rock for a while. I was with a management company, and I got an apartment there. And anyway, we had this cat, and the week before Thanksgiving, she had developed her nails. Her nails had grown like all the way into the pads and stuff. So I was traveling a lot with work. I took her to a different vet than we had been going to normally, and he gave her a medicine that he should have probably not given her as a geriatric cat patient. I gave her the first dose about 10 o'clock the week before Thanksgiving on Thursday, and I found her deceased about 30 minutes later under my nightstand, and I lost it. I absolutely lost it. See, it's getting me now. Because it was so very sad. She didn't deserve that. And the actual medicine that the doctor prescribed to her, once I looked into it and stuff, had a 30% instant mortality rate. Why would you give that to a cat? And he didn't do any kind of checking with the previous vet who had seen her at that point for about 10 years. So I, of course, when she died, I called the vet's office. It was 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and it rolled over to the emergency animal clinic. Their phones were forwarded, and they were so cold about it. I mean, they get that call all the time. In their defense, doesn't mean they can be cold. Should be cold, but they were like, "Well, you can put her in a box or a bag, and put her at the curb. The city will pick her up the next day." I'm like, "No." And then the next suggestion was that I could put her in the freezer. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to put my cat in the freezer. And then she was like, well, it's relatively cool outside. If you have a garage, you could put her in a box out in the garage, and she'd be fine until tomorrow, and so you can take her into the vet's office and have her cremated. But my immediate thought when she died, I was really upset. So hard to imagine, right? My thought was, God, what if I had little kids? What if I had kids and they had experienced that too? Their stress would be, bad to have to deal with. I mean, I know what happens, but I didn't want to have to deal with it. And what if I was 75 years old and it was a 100-pound dog? What do you do? What do you do? So I created a company called Heaven's Leash. And what was that? It was a chicken dog. It was a rooster dog. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. And I actually was able to approach one of the local crematories. That is the weirdest sounding chicken I've ever heard in my life. And they actually let me ride around with them. That's not one of my dogs, so I can't do anything about it. They let me ride around with them for a couple of months and get to know some of the veterinary clinics and kind of see the whole process and what happens and how to explain it and all of that. And it was, I used to get a lot of calls. I haven't, like I said, been able to market it in a long time. So pet loss is something I'm very versed in. And one of the things that I learned along the way when working with the Humane Society's grief support group, there's a lot of information, first off, out there about pet loss. And people do go through the exact same stages of grief with a pet that they do as with a person. And in some cases, a lot of cases, that grief is even stronger than it would be, say, with a relative or something like that, because you spend so much time with your pets. Think about it. Sometimes you spend more time with your pets, especially in this last year and a half, than you do with your relatives or other people. So it's true. They're just like a member of the family, and it is really, really hard. Again, I say this phrase a lot, but those of you that know me, I could not talk about Fergie for a good 2 years without getting physically affected. I mean, just emotionally, I will also say that there's Hallmark commercials with dogs and cats in them that might turn that off, and that stupid In the Arms of an Angel song by Sarah McLachlan that they play for the shelters, that gets turned off like within 3 seconds. But that's just me, Pets are so important, and you develop such strong bonds with them, that you communicate with them. American dogs understand English, right? And Chinese dogs understand Chinese. It's just the way it goes. It's all tone of voice. So they learn from that. So that's going to bring me to my next thing. I can't believe I made that segue work so well. I remember seeing well, it wasn't a meme. It was like a sign in a side gas station years ago. I think it said 80% or 90% of the world's problems are caused by tone of voice. Stick that one in your corncob pipe and smoke it. It's true. It's true. I really try to watch my reactions to people because I can be pretty stern, but I like to try to get my point across, so that includes inflection, which is one of the reasons text messaging and emails are so bad, because you're not necessarily getting the writer's true inflections, but you can also assume from written word. Anyway, that's another subject. But I just can't stand, personally, when someone barks at me undeservingly. If I've done something wrong, then you got the right to kind of chastise me or whatever, maybe. But don't bark at me. Don't bark at me and insult my intelligence in the meantime, because especially if we know each other well, that's just one of those things that's not gonna, it's gonna hurt and it's gonna sit for a while. And surprise, surprise, I have a hard time sometimes letting things go. That's because they do hurt. So I try to, even when I'm like in pain or something, I mean, there's certain people that you need to keep on your side, and you don't want to, like, I don't know, scream at the nurse when she's helping you have a baby. Not that I know what that's like, but I could just imagine. Things like that, take a second. I know it's hard sometimes, but take a second and realize that the power of your words, which is a huge thing, is also affected by the tone in which they are given. So, put that in your banana pudding and have it for lunch, like I did yesterday. Anyway, y'all have a wonderful week. Let me know what's going on, and let me know your thoughts down below. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Everybody says that these days. Boop.